Hey everybody, I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and you're on the lifeboat, and we're on the lifeboat. We're back on home turf, so to speak. So thanks everybody. I appreciate all of the love and the support while that was going on. I really do appreciate all of that, and I appreciate Heather Joy and her effort. Let me see if we can make these things bigger. All right, so it's yeah, I got out barely in time to come home, eat something, and get ready to do the lifeboat. Hey Mark, nice to see you. I don't know if I've said hello. I probably have. The brain isn't working the way it used to, but if I have another one. Welcome to the lifeboat. So you know what, people? It was a really odd 3 days. I'm taking it easy. Here's the deal, people, and I'm promising you. Squirrel's right here. She's. I promise you, people. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't feel like, $1 million, and I feel like $1 million. Once they got the pulse to stop racing, which didn't take long, and then almost immediately after that, I was as right as rain. I just still had to stay and do all of the stuff that goes along with it. That was part of the deal. But it was, I felt great since basically Sunday. I probably didn't look it, because they're poking you and they're running you around and doing tests and all that stuff. But I felt fantastic, man. I really did. I felt fantastic. And today, they said, well, we're going to go get a wheelchair for transport. I mean, I could run a marathon. I feel fantastic. I'm not lying to any of you. My pulse is in the 50s. My blood pressure is in the one teens, over 60 something. Like, I'm doing fantastic. You know who else is doing fantastic? Brandon Calloway. 46 days sober. You got to love that. You really do. Thank you, Mark. I'm telling you, I really do feel that way. I really, really do. And a lot of unusual things happened, which I'll relate to you because I think some of them are fairly interesting. Some observations from this whole process. First and foremost, hey, Leisure, good to see you. Alf, good to see you. Valerie, good to see you. Mind Games, glad you're here. Mr. Ray, been a lot of chatter about maybe trimming back that head and beard on the lifeboat. Goddess Divine, glad you're here. Allison Stacy, I appreciate you, man. I really do. That was a class act. It really was. Virginia, so good to see you. John, glad you're here too. So I've been in and out of hospitals a lot. It's just been one of those lives. I've had some issues in the past, and Snot Face, good to see you. Charlie Murphy, always a pleasure. Quiet Girl, glad you're here. So it's just been one of those lives where it was like the operation of the month club for a period of time in my life because of the skiing and all that. Hey, Scoob, it feels good to be in the seat, Scoob. Thank you. Trish, good to see you. V, wouldn't be a boat without you. So going to this, I don't know. I feel like I almost I rate hospitals, or I keep it in the head, how they are. Just Ruth, always a pleasure. And this was one of the more unusual experiences that I've ever had at a hospital. And what I mean by that is it was just everybody was so friendly. Like I've never been anywhere where every single employee there just seemed to be having a great day. Trish, everybody just seemed to be having a good day. Everybody seemed to be happy at all times. It was almost freaky because you're just, especially in hospitals, you're not used to that. Orderlies and there are people there that clean bedpans all day, and it's been my experience that they work them really long hours, and they're usually there's a level of burnout that happens, and really, it's just a tough job. And to be as friendly as everybody was, I was absolutely blown away. Great hospital. The way they set everything up, the way they communicate. Yes, I did have my own room. I'll drive over and let you weed whack my beard and hair if Ray chickens out. That's funny. That is funny. However, if you do stop by, there's going to be a new tradition for folks who visit. That when you visit, we will be doing Sistroming. It's great for views. Brings in a lot of people. You're taking one for the team. I'm going to make sure we try to keep this cat from stepping on anything keyboard related. A little frisky since I got home. Please don't knock that off. That's a good kitty. So that was one of the things. One of the other things that I found was that there were a ton of sober people there. This has been one of those unique situations for me. Oh man, she knocks that box off. It was one of those unique situations. Very professional YouTubing. We got this. The whole situation was unique because I've never lied to doctors. They were the one group that I always thought, man, you probably ought to tell them the truth. Because if you don't tell them you're on dope, they could give you something that's going to kill you. So even if I was lying to the rest of the world, when I went into the hospital and they said, do you use drugs? I said, yes. I always told them everything that I was on, what I was doing, how much of it I was doing, when the last time I did it, all of those things. And it was a really unique experience to be able to say, no, I don't do drugs. And they said, do you drink? And, I said, told them the amount of alcohol I consume annually. And the guy's like, oh no, that's not what I meant. I meant, do you drink? And it was really, hey, quiet girl, glad you're here. Yeah. And you know what? A 1 for Brandon up there would be a really good idea. It really would. One of the unique things is that when you tell people the truth and you do it sort of without shame, so to speak. I mean, I'm done feeling shame for the things that I've done in the past. There's some guilt there, but I'm not going to continue to beat myself up and live in the past. It's unhealthy as hell. And it doesn't get you where you're trying to go. In fact, it pushes you in the opposite direction. And it does so. Hey, New Zealand chili head, glad you're here. Patrick, good to see you. It pushes you in the opposite direction. And so I was just open and honest. You know what I mean? They said, well, we're going to run an IV. I said, well, you're going to have a really tough time. I said, I used IV drugs for a really, really long time. And the guy said, you don't mind talking about it. I said, well, I talk about it a lot. And I sort of shared about the boat with everybody because I do that. It's kind of the passion of mine. And did I just see Dennis Brace? Good to see you, bud. So I ended up sharing, and a lot of people end up sharing back. And one of Tim, glad you're here. One of the nurses was sober 46 days today. And the first day I was there, she said, I'm 40, or no, maybe it's 47 today. I think she's told me 45 the first day that I met her. And she said that she's managed to do it online, but it's just been using apps and things. There was, the first time she told me, I thought there was interaction and there wasn't. And she said, and I know I need to do that. I need to get that interaction thing going. So she went to one last night and it wasn't the lifeboat. And she said to me, if you could have heard it, I wish that I had a recording going. Cause she said, everybody there was really young. I said, well, that's unusual. I said, the lifeboat's kind of an older crowd, apparently we don't appeal to the younger crowd. I think that a lot of the people she was in there with were court ordered or forced to be there. And it's still online, but these people or they have to do it to get a medication or whatever. But she said that everybody was really kind of young. Her counselor was 27, which chapped her because she was in her 40s, young, low 40s. And on top of that, she said the first thing she asked the counselor was, what were you addicted to? And the counselor said that she hadn't been addicted to anything. And we've had a lot of conversations about this on the boat. Can you have a decent relationship in recovery with somebody that has never been there? And I come down on both sides of this argument. Mark Wages comes down on both sides of this argument. I think most people who think about it, come to the conclusion that there are some really caring people out there that are really well educated on this subject. And you absolutely can, no texting while driving. Trish, please. Lady Spellbreaker, good to see you. T-Glen, glad you're here. So it's a really, it's an interesting subject. And 32 is old. Well, I mean, this person was, and anyway, we kind of have I wish I was 32. God, I wish I was 32. Anyway, so what really, really chapped her was, this was an issue for her. And I said, maybe don't concentrate on the person that's getting everything going as much as you concentrate on the people in there with you, because they've been where you've been. And the camaraderie that we get on the boat. Alf, glad you're here. I was trying to describe how, if you really start to gel with the people in the group, that's really where the magic kind of happens. Miss Dragon, glad you're here. Fancy Face, good to see you. I don't think I've ever welcomed you. Maybe I have. Fancy Faces. I was 32 once. Me too. It was a long, long time ago, but I was 32 once. And so it got me thinking about the boat. And I started talking to her about it because when I suggested this to her, she said, she said everybody there just sort of had this attitude like, well, I'm on this level. I've been here 4 weeks and I'm on, step this or whatever. She said, and the other attitude, she said, everybody just seemed to think they were better than people in there. That's the vibe she got. And I said, oh man, you really need to come by the lifeboat. I'm like, no one. In 2 years, I've never heard anybody say anything remotely like that about the boat. Chili Phil, good to see you. Really glad you're here. She's chewing on my thumb like it is a chew toy. What are you doing? Yeah, when I got home, this cat followed me around nonstop since I walked through the door. She's just been following me wherever I go. It's like she's full of hope. There you are. Welcome, Ireland. So it's a very unique thing that we've got here on the boat. It really is. It's if you're new to it, this is really, really a unique group of people. And there are times I think that it's so exciting to turn on the computer, to get on the phone and watch the subscriptions, the number of subscribers go up. That's huge, man. It really is, because I don't view this like I would other things. I really don't. We're about this close to 250,000 times that somebody has come here because they want to get sober. You know what I mean? It's not like, I love cat videos, man. I watch the hell out of them. I probably watch 250,000 cat videos a month, right? It's I find it very, very relaxing, really, really into it. But it's a lot different. Those videos can get 600,000 views in a day because you're not putting anything out. I'm engaged and have only been mildly open about my alcoholic past. Admitted that I went down the drain after divorce because I don't want to lie or deceive my future spouse. Well, that's a really, really excellent idea. Because if you start to build a relationship on anything other than trust, then it's not going to work. And I'm not, trying to lecture or anything else. But if you do not, honesty, and you know why I know this? Because I was dishonest with every person that I've ever been with. I lied to all of them. And they would have, the crazy thing is that they would have put up with just about anything. The boat is like the ark. We've got room for 2 or 10 of every kind. Agreed, man. Agreed. And we take them all. We take them all. And the growth, the growth rate that we're on right now, I think, is healthy as hell. And we're getting people that assimilate instantly. Like, you get busy and it's tough to answer comments as much as I'd like to. But the boat started leaving a bunch of comments, and that's so good for the boat. If I respond to all of them, it doubles how good it is for the boat. So I spent a few hours just going through and answering some comments, and I'm looking at names of people that I feel like I've known forever, and then I go back and I see when they got to the boat, and they've been here a month, they've been here 2. James Novak, good to see you. And there's none of that feeling of, like V and Seventh and people that have just been here from, Charlie Murphy, who've been here from day one and leaving comments on every single video and just helping to build the boat in ways that I can't. You know what I mean? Like I can go nuts. I can't make that happen. And, that whether you're Charlie and you've left 6,000 comments or you got here yesterday, everybody just blends together. And it's just this absolutely beautiful. It's love. It sounds cheesy as hell saying it. It really does. But the amount of love on this channel is remarkable. And boy, Leisure, another one that's just been here from the time I started. And it's it, everybody is welcome. It's like seventh son. I drove an hour and a half. Let's see here. I drove an hour and a half to try another AA meeting that didn't work for me, but I've done 25 meetings in the past 24 days. I'll start at the top of the list. I'm going to keep going until I got 60 in 60 days. Good for you, brother. Good for you, man. That's dedication. If when I caught the bug, like when I really decided that I wanted to live the rest of my life sober, I've used the illustration before, but I put faith in Q. This guy, like everybody talked about the fact that he just, he'll turn your life around if he's willing to help you and you're willing to listen to him. This guy can turn your life around. And lifers would say, I've seen him do this 4 or 5 times, And so once I started to really have faith that this guy could steer me in the right direction and that I could actually be sober, I would have lopped off this thing and mailed it to Philadelphia if that's what he had told me to do. Been here a few days. Love the people in the channel already. Gone back watching your first month of videos has helped hugely. It's amazing. It's such a cool thing to say. And you know what? Man, it feels like you've been here longer than that. Again, it's, you see names and you just feel like, but everybody also engages. I was very seriously, you lay in bed. I'm usually bouncing all over the place. And JT, good to see you. Usually I'm bouncing all over the place and, I'm busy as hell and I'm doing this or I'm doing that or the cat's driving me nuts. In a hospital bed, you got 15 to 20 minutes, right? Or in the middle of the night, maybe 2 or 3 hours of uninterrupted, nobody touching you. And then, people come in all the time. Well, in those 3-hour stretches, it's hard to get any kind of quality sleep. You're on a crappy bed. It's angled and you got boxes and tools and things all off you. So I spent a lot of time sitting and thinking. And a lot of that time I spent, sitting and thinking about the lifeboat and praying about you all and things like that because I had a lot of time on my hands. And I'll tell you what, I got a couple of T-shirt ideas that are ridiculous. Like when I have nothing but time on my hands and I can think. And I'm very seriously considering asking the crew, and I'll post it so everybody can vote because it's the easiest way to do it is just to get votes from you all. But it's confusing. You show up on the Lifeboat homepage and you don't see any of the live stuff. The videos pop up and it's kind of difficult to structure that any other way. And and I love the way it's structured. I mean, Feed did a great job. We tried to do it so that it just highlighted all of the live stuff and it doesn't really go down like that. But I'm thinking of adding the word live to the end of the channel name, like the Lifeboat Live, because there are a lot of people out there that don't want to come and listen to somebody lecture you about getting sober. I mean, good Lord, you couldn't have talked me into that if you paid me. When I was using, there's no way you could have got me to listen to some ex-person talk, ex drug addict, bank robber, and listen to them talk about, what they're doing on the boat. I mean, what they're doing with sobriety. That never would have happened. But if I had thought that, there was 50 or 60 other people who I could, sort of interact with, and there's a lot of people that really dig live. And I think if more people understood that this was a exclusively live channel, that we'd see more people, and that's always good. I appreciate Aaron for bringing me here. You know what? Y'all scooped me up out of the water. The crew is good at that. They really are. The crew is good at that. And we're going to do some different things going forward. I've got some ideas, and I'm not going to bombard you for the rest of the show with them, but we've got some cool stuff coming up. Sorry. Sorry, just reading some comments. Aaron also brought me here, says Mark. He's a great guy. I on one of my last videos, if you caught it, I mentioned the Larry Nassar thing. Dude got stabbed 10 times. Like they really tried to take him out. He had a collapsed lung that he really got put through it. He and DeVoe says, I'll have to comment on a Dax song inviting people here. Do you know how many times? It may sound funny. Do you know how many times somebody has said to me, I found you because somebody left a comment on another channel and they mentioned yours? Valerie, another A run. We've the blessings that we got. I sent him a I sent Aaron a text the other day talking about all of you, and just what an amazing help it has been for the lifeboat, and how much those videos did for the boat in general. He's it's hard when you're trying if you're trying to build a channel and you want to do collaborations, and there's somebody out there that's got 160,000 people and you got 1,900 or I don't remember what we had. We were 2,000 some change or something, and we might have even been close to 3. I don't remember, but we were 7,000 less than wherever we're at now. I think we got about 700 or 800 out of that, and normally somebody with that many people would no desire whatsoever to do a collaboration with a smaller channel because they don't benefit much from it. The bus will drive to the boat. You just have to get on it. Amen. Chili Phil, man, so glad you're here. Yeah, Chili came from the bus. Oh, man, did you see that? Did you see that? He says if he makes a face while eating Sistroming, I'm allowed to give him a mohawk. That mohawk goes down the mustache, the beard. We're doing the full body number. First night in a few months, I haven't had a drink. Starting the journey over again. I think about this boat all the time. It's one of the first things that pops up on my YouTube feed every day. Well, that's awesome. YouTube's doing their job. That's our partner. Excellent. Coburn, I'm glad you're here. Rose K, good to see you. You know what, Coburn? I used to say that a lot. That was an expression I used to say all the time. I'm starting that journey over again. It took a lot of years of being wasted and a lot of years of being sober that in my mind, it's just the journey. What you're doing is you're getting back up because we get knocked down a lot on that journey. It's a tough thing to do. Thank you. V says hit the like button. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Sometimes I make me laugh. It's just one of those things. Oh, I like that, Quiet Girl. 2 ships pass in the night. They smile, say it's all right. Boats gather and spread love and light. Well, you guys most assuredly do that. This has been one of just Miss Dragon. You know what? Don't read the comments. Close your eyes. Oh, those are the worst. You know what? About for Miss Dragon, because that's awful, man. It really is. That's awful. So Colburn, I couldn't be happier, man. That's fantastic. I'm so glad to hear that you're dusting yourself off, man. If I had $1 for every time I relapsed before getting sober, or every time I tried and failed and tried and failed and tried and failed, well, tried and fell might be a better term because I didn't stop trying. I didn't quit quitting until it finally worked. At Coburn Spencer, I count my sobriety date as the day I admitted it seriously. I had hard relapses, but I learned from them. That's a great comment. That is a great comment. I love that. I really do. I absolutely love that. That's a fantastic way to look at it because everything is it's just relapse after relapse, but that's exactly what's going on. The day that you go, yeah, that's it. It's 25 likes. The likes don't update on a live stream. Is that true? I didn't know that. He says you got to refresh to see current numbers. Thank you, Ian. I had no idea. KD, good to see you. Glad that you're here, KD. Always a pleasure, man. Yeah, so apparently, people, you got to hit that refresh button if you want to see the thumbs up adjust themselves. Apparently, Full of Hope has got 29. Well, I really appreciate, you know what, it's been a huge effort on the part of all of you. And so many people that showed up have started to leave comments on every video. And just you're pushing the boat. You really are. And when you're sitting here and you can look in the, in the back office and I used to tell people all the time when the boat first started that I stay away from the, all of the metrics and all of the analytics in the back office that will give you an opportunity to look at everything that's going on. How old your audience is, what percentage of them are female, how long into the videos do people quit, what's your average watch time, your average watches per day or your average amount of watch time per day. I can go nuts. I can start going down that rabbit hole. So about a year and some change ago, I just swore off of it. And I go back every now and then. But lately, and especially, I had a lot of time on my hands in the last 3 days, but the numbers are fantastic. The amount of time that people are watching just continues to grow and grow and grow. And we're about to clip 250,000. That's 250,000 times that somebody came here and said, I want to get sober. You know what I mean? I want to stay sober. I want to get sober. I want to get back up. I want to beat the relapse, whatever the case may be. But it's a beautiful thing. So KD says, I see 30 likes, 41 watching. Well, 11 of you could throw a like out there. Mark, wages. My bobble-headed partner. Good to see you, bud. Good to see you, Mark. Mark's putting up videos again. You know what? I got a lot of people here that are new. We've got a ton of people here, Mark, that came over from Aaron's SPTV, sometimes called Growing Up in Scientology. People, if you've never checked out Wages World, Mark talks about some of the coolest stuff in the world. You know what? I'll put that up there so everybody can get a look at the, you know what? Charlie Murphy, can you put up his, Mark's link? If you guys have never been over to Wages World, Mark talks about space weather. And I'll be really honest with you. I had absolutely no idea there was a thing called space weather until I met Mark. And it's absolutely fascinating. And you will, when you start paying attention to it, you'll see that there are things happening on this planet that people don't talk or think about that are directly affected by what our sun does. It's pretty fascinating stuff. It really is. And he's the co-founder of the Lifeboat. So if you have not, you should go over there, check it out, and throw the man a subscribe because it's an awesome channel. Really fantastic people. Half of who you're rubbing elbows with right now found this channel from Wages World. Doctor, I keep dreaming that my eyes are changing colors. It's a pigment of your imagination. Oh, no. Oh, no. That was absolutely awful. That's so bad I'm putting it up. I swear to you, that's so bad I'm putting it up. And the bobbleheaded reference is due to the fact that you've seen Mark in a lot of the early videos, but he'd be, the guy on the other side of the glass are basically staring at each other. And I would make a point that Mark would agree with, and he'd go like this. So for an hour, I would watch Mark do this number. It was really, really funny. Some great videos too. Some of the best videos on YouTube are videos I did with Mark. Just good stuff. He speaks extremely coherently about the topic. And you know what I dig about Wages World is that I never feel stupid. You know what I mean? Like I've checked out other channels that talk about some highfalutin knowledge. The kind of stuff that they just didn't teach you in high school, and the stuff that you didn't learn in college unless that's what you were studying. And very often, they'll use 25 terms I've never heard in my life, and they don't understand any of them. I mean, they don't explain any of them. So I'm always like doubling back. Mark talks to me to everybody at a level that makes you feel like he's not talking down to you, but very quickly you'll assimilate the subject matter, and it's pretty cool subject matter, man. And unlike me, the guy's mastered all of this. So he shows you the different views from space and all that. You should definitely check one out. It's good stuff. My doctor told me I needed to break into a sweat once a day. I told him I'd start lying to the wife. Yes. Good to have you back telling terrible jokes. Valerie, I hope your father's doing well. Please give him my best. Also, quiet girl needs prayers and some positive thoughts and energy and whatever it is that you do. I'm fond of prayers. You do whatever you want. But I'd like us to think about quiet girls. There are so many things going on with this poor girl and her health that she shouldn't be here. She should be listening from where I was broadcasting from the last couple of days. Hey, Sasquatch Hunter Alaska Adventures. Good to see you. Thank you very much, man. I'm so happy I'm home. It's great. Your dad is beside you. Excellent, sir. Glad to have you. It's an honor. So people, I got home, and so when I left, it was, when I went in, it was probably like about 106 when I went into the hospital. When I got out today, it was a very cool 109. Thank you, Rick. Good to see you. Good to be back. So I got home, and I figured I would go out and jump in the pool. The temperature in the pool is now in the low 90s, which is just absolutely ridiculous. That's not a pool, it's a bath. That is a bath. If all the power of love was as strong as people's love of power, the world would know peace. I love it. I love it. That's a great comment. That is a great comment. And I'll tell you, this is what I was trying to kind of allude to earlier, about, you hear people talk about all the other ways that, group therapy and going and talking to people, and it's not always a very positive experience for people, which is really awful. You know what I mean? It's this is one of the most important things, if not the most important thing someone's going to do in their life. Getting off of dope, getting sober, putting your life back together, not being enslaved to a chemical. In my life, absolutely the most important thing that I've ever done. And if you're surrounded by people that you don't feel are supporting you, or if you're surrounded by people you think are judging you, and I know Mark and I have talked about this before numerous times together. I've talked about this with a lot of you. Joel Lawson, I'm glad you're here. But I have walked out of meetings offended by people at the meeting, turned off by whatever it is. And I mean, granted, if I was ready to be there, maybe it would have been different, but I would go in looking to judge the people. I would walk in the door with a buzz on, looking at everybody else there and thinking to myself, thinking to myself, I'm going to find a way out of here. Like that guy looks judgmental and that girl looks like, she doesn't want me here. And those people are clicking up over there and don't want me a part of it. Balake! Good to see you, man. The music's cranking. Good. Enjoy it. Yeah, lying to yourself. Let me see if I can get this back here real quick because it was kind of cool. Yeah, alas, I've lost it because that's who I am, Mr. YouTube. Yeah, Mr. YouTube. But it's one of those things. I'm so proud to be associated with this, and I know Heather feels the same way. I know Mark feels the same way. We're just blessed as hell that we can come and sit in the cool seat for a while and hang out with a group of people like the crew of the lifeboat. It's different. It's so freaking different. It's crazy. It really is. It's one of those things that it's. I'm just really, really proud to be associated with all of you. Exactly. It's like we put on glasses that let us see every addict and alcoholic. It's a blessing and a curse. It truly is. It truly is. It's funny that you brought that up too, Mark. Or that you worded it that way. When I was in the hospital, you first get in there. They do the triage and all of that stuff. De Beaumont resident. Welcome to Beaumont resident. Good to see you. Tommy, good to see you back, brother. Back when my dad went to AA, there was a rule: you can't show up drunk. So we always kept a buzzer high on. He had built an excuse at that point. I've done it. I know a lot of people that have done it. To me, that is the most bizarre part of all of the sobriety stuff. Nothing is more bizarre to me than that. Really. So you go in there and you get triaged, and I walked in and they hook you up to the machine, and my pulse was in the 180s, and now all of a sudden, instead of why don't you go have a seat in the lobby, it's they get you on a gurney and you're on the next train smoking into the ER, and there's people that come in and instantly start working on you and stuff. But you do start in the ER, and there's 70 rooms made up of little curtains that divide one bay from the next or whatever, and they're everywhere. And there were so many people there that they had an overflow, so they were setting up smaller little like phone booth divider size, phone booth size dividers on the opposite wall. And Mark, as they were bringing people in, I mean, one after the other, I would look at these people and I'd go, oh man, that person is absolutely destroyed. And I ended up in a with a guy next to me. I was in there for probably 6 hours before they got me up into a room. Not gonna lie, I feel like a sinner surrounded by saints. That's awesome. That's awesome. Southwest Hunter. Have you caught any of the early videos? I am a convicted bank robber and a gun runner, and I have broken every just about every law of God and man. I am a sinner, brother. I am a sinner. I am blessed as hell, and I'm sober by the grace of God. But yeah, no, I'm no saint, man. Yeah. That's really awesome, though, man. That one's gonna stick with me. Oh. Ian DeBose says, "Got to maintain a level. It's not about getting high or drunk at a certain point." When I was using every day, it was literally. I like that. Daniel says, "Nonsense, Sasquatch." Yeah, there's nobody here. I mean, we got to start doing some more interviews with everybody, so that because those are all so far. We haven't done enough interviews recently, and we used to do a lot of them, and they highlight that all of us, man, we're all the reason that everybody here is so accepting of everybody else is because unlike the rest of the world, right, that closes all that crap up in a closet and pretends it never happened, right? Your friends, how many friends do you have that didn't do drugs? The fact that they didn't get addicted to it was really like a genetic lottery. Here at our hospital, we have EKG machines at the triage desk. Anything with a heart gets you fast track to a room. Yeah, that's pretty much what happened to me. I got into the triage. They hooked me up and I was gone. Like I got to bypass the waiting room and all of that. But it was we know what it feels like to be rejected. Daniel, great comment. And that's exactly right. We know what it feels like to be rejected. We know what it feels like to have the world look at you and think you're broken or you're messed up or you're a little less, you're a little less perfect. You're a little less honest. You're a little less cool. You're a little less good. You're a little less trustworthy. Bullshit. I mean, sorry. The fact is that most of the people have got a ton of stuff in their closet. When you're a drug addict or you're an alcoholic or you're addicted to gambling or you have an addiction that really sends you off of the railroad tracks, right? You have jumped the rails. Well, when that happens, you're gonna wear your life on your sleeve, right? And a lot of us have just learned to embrace that. Instead of walking around feeling like we're less than anything, we're gonna say, you know what? This is who I was, and this is who I am. I'm proud of hell of the guy I am today. And the more that I do to ground the Tommy of today, on the right path, the more that I do that, the smaller that rear view mirror keeps getting. We say you gotta live with your eyes on the big piece of glass and not the small one. Well, the more you cement yourself into this sobriety game, and you don't have to become a square. You don't have to change who you are. You can have a great time. Life can be fantastic and sober. One of the biggest, the toughest things for me to realize was that life is actually better without drugs. Like that was a concept I couldn't wrap my brain around. I was willing to get sober because it needed to happen. I just assumed I was going to have to be miserable. Right? That was the mindset. And that's just horse crap, man. You live exactly how you want. I promise you. If everyone was to put their problems in a single pile and everyone had to take an equal share, most people would be happier with what they have. I love that. Elf's on fire. Daniel, I'm sure that the girl you're seeing likes you, bud. And you know what? You should be telling her that. Communicate. There are a lot of people in my life who treat me so different now that I'm honest about my alcoholism. Well, Valerie, you're going to get that. But, and this is something this is a great segue. Thank you so much for saying that. Thank you so much for saying that. Honestly, this is such a perfect segue into what I wanted to talk about. People in your life, when you come off, right? When you stop living the lie and you start being really honest with the people around you, and I mean ugly honest, right? Ugly honest. Hey, Rip Curl Readiness speaking. Great interviews where people really just open up and are as honest as you ever wanted to see. Rip's interviews are amazing. Great stuff. You should go back and watch it, man. She knows all about it. Daniel, you're on the right path. Always lay that out. I'm sorry. It doesn't, like, I don't have to tell a girl day one every single thing about my past. I don't. But I'm going to tell her day one I'm a recovered drug addict. You know? How do I know what this girl thinks a good time is? Right? Or guy for that matter. I tell everybody that I meet that I'm a recovering addict. I don't go, hi, I'm Tommy. I'm a heroin addict. But I am going to, and it's almost a spiel, right? It's almost the same every time I do it. And I don't care. I don't care that I have to do this because I've gone the other route and seen how that works out. Here's paint this scenario in your dome. I meet a guy and he says, hey, dude, you know what? Glad you moved to Tucson. You live down the street, whatever. What do you say we get together? Have dinner, catch a movie, whatever. Yeah, sounds great. Now in his head, he's thinking, I'm going to show the dude a good time, right? I'd like to have a good time. I'd like to check out. And you get in the car and he's like, hey, you want to do a bump? Huh? Dude, you can get drugs easy. We're right on the border. Or you want some pills? I occasionally go into Mexico and get some stuff. You want to get, if I handle that crap in the beginning, I'm never going to have to deal with that. Question: what do you think of the TV show Mom? Never seen it. Never seen it. Sorry. If it's even remotely new, Quiet Girl, I gave up on TV about a decade ago now, I guess. Yeah, Ian. Rip isn't just here. He is a pillar on the lifeboat. A absolute pillar on the lifeboat. But you're gonna encounter a group of people that treat you differently. When you're honest up front, you're gonna lose some friends before you even get them. And you know what? That is winning the freaking lottery. If somebody, judge not, thank you, the Beaumont resident. Booyah! Oops. Look at that. I got my old partner. Got to be quick. You guys are fast today. It's real happiness, not a chemical causing the happiness. We have to find and choose it. It sure isn't looking for us, so let's go get it. Are you guys kidding me, man? Like, I could just sit back and not have a subject and just read comments one after the other. You know, get it. In fact, I mean, really, that's probably when the shows are at their best anyway. When I'm not trying to roll for an hour and I'm just sort of. But right now, you guys are on fire, and it's a subject I wanted so much to talk about today. I really did, because we're so damn different, and it's worth celebrating. It really is. Last night I woke up at 1 a.m. and I just knew I had to try again. I drink to be happy. I drink to be happy, and I want to be happy without it. It's a strange set of emotions I feel tonight. Coburn, honesty will do that to you. You know what I mean? And I don't mean that you lie to other people, but we lie to ourselves when we're on drugs. Plain and simple, we lie to ourselves. So you woke up at 1 a.m. and you knew you had to try again. You drink to be happy. The hardest thing in the world for me to realize was that I didn't do heroin to be happy. I really believed I did. And I'm not saying this is me, right? But I hear this a lot. And for a lot of people, there's a transition period where, because we convince ourselves of that. Everybody convinces themselves of that. I drink because it makes me happy. It doesn't. It doesn't. There's a difference between happy and taken away sad. You follow me? Right? Because you can take something away by deadening it, or you can replace it altogether. So instead of being unhappy and then just wiping the board so that for 8 hours you can't remember that you're unhappy, which is what alcohol does, it's what cocaine does, it's what heroin does, it's what meth does, it's what every friggin' drug in the world does, or we wouldn't do them, right? It convinces you for 8 hours that I'm not pissed off at the ex-girlfriend. I don't care that I'm behind on my rent. My business ain't great. All those things you can just flip a switch and have them go away. Trouble is, they don't go away, right? I mean, they don't. They snowball. They get bigger and bigger and bigger. And the stuff that we got to do to continue to feel not sad gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then we add to that problem addiction. And now we have the shame of realizing that we can't stop something that everyone else seems to easily stop, right? I can't do a opiate in a pill. Can't do one, right? 99 out of 100 people could throw one back and go, great, you know, or take 2 or 3 of them and say, yeah, I'm okay, fine. I won't do any tomorrow. I do it today. I'm going to do it tomorrow. In fact, if I do it today, I'm going to do it at about 4 a.m. because I'll want to wake up with one. And that's how it goes for me. And I will convince myself with everything I got going on in my life right now, right? A business and the lifeboat and all of the people I love and the friends and what we're doing. This is a friggin' mission. But with everything going on in my life, it would take about 4 days of being on dope for me to convince myself that all this sucks. But I can take that sucks away. And there was an epiphany, like the sky opened up and the cloud and the sun came through the clouds, and there's really like that. I had a road to Damascus moment about the whole reason that I was doing dope, because I realized that I never got happy doing that crap. I mean, maybe the first 3 weeks, maybe the first 6 months, it was fun. And it was fun because I was still engaged in some way in my own head to what was really going on. In fact, I used to think things like, it'd be nice to just kind of, I'll take the afternoon and not worry about anything. Like in my head, that was something that was okay. 6 or 7 months later, that was no longer the ball game. 6 or 7 months later, the ball game was, man, that stuff makes me happy, and the rest of the world sucks. It sucks unless I have that stuff. But I believe, Colburn, that a day is going to come in your life where you're going to realize that the happiest you've ever been is when there is nothing in your body and no threat of it. There are things that I do that just piss off people who are in the sobriety game, because I'm not a PhD, right? I didn't go out there and study this the way other people did. I'm a drug addict. I'm a drug addict and a bank robber, right? I'm certainly not what other people are in this game are. And because of that, I probably articulate things a little bit differently. I look at things a little bit differently. But here's the thing. I'm not going to trash any other model. I'm really not. But when that life-changing moment happens, that you realize that, man, that crap never brought you any happiness at all. None. It's going to be a really big thing. I came to realize I had to change 5 years later. Every day I'm still trying to get what I had back. You know what? I believe that, my brother. I believe that. And I did it I shot dope for about 30 years. I mean, 3 decades, right at 3 decades. Thank you, DeBoma. What a cool thing to say, man. It's a great thing to say. I really, really appreciate that. I'm happy to be back. And this was good for me. Taking 3 days. I met a bunch of people that talked about sobriety in the last 3 days. I had people come in and hit subscribe while they were standing in the room with me. And it was awesome because I had people from every walk of life, every color, every gender, everybody that came in and talked to me. I had 6 doctors that came in at the same time to talk to me about the heart and, setting me up later for 2 different kinds of cardiac stuff. And these are some pretty sharp cats, man, right? These are cardiac doctors and surgeons. These are pretty heavy educated, really, really cool people. And every one of them just got a crap-eating grin on their face when they said, is there a reason why did they run 2 IVs? I said, because I am awful. Okay, my friend, please be safe. Sasquatch Hunter says, got to run the town. Yeah. All right. Be careful, please. Thank you, man. It's an honor. Glad that you stopped by. Be careful, please. Hold on one moment, folks. I always got to make sure this isn't, an emergency. We have had some. Okay. So I'm going to be doing the lifeboat tomorrow night. It's going to be a little bit early. I'm not getting off now, but this is something that occurred to me, so I should say it now. I'm going to be coming on 1/2 hour early tomorrow night because I have an appointment tomorrow at 5:30. But yeah, people, I don't know. For me, this entire journey is about being happy with no chemicals. And what I really was, I was really affected by that moment. And you ate something spicy too late at night. Boy, there's about at least 10 or 12 people on this boat right now that have done that too many times. And it is a miserable thing to have capsaicin cramps in the middle of the night. the tube of terror followed by drinking a bottle of tincture. That night was one of the most exquisite pains I've ever felt in my life. My body went like this and folded up like a wallet, and I could not stand up. I couldn't straighten my body out. If I could have, I would have driven to the hospital. I thought I was dying from capsaicin, which can't happen. The proof of that is my brother Johnny. If capsaicin could kill you, he'd be dead. Long time ago. Long time ago. T-Prob, I didn't see you come in. Good to see you. Sorry, I'm just trying to read something here. You know what? Can we get some prayers for Rip? Rip, that sounds bad, man. I got to be honest with you. I think cap cramps suck pretty much all times of the day. Yeah, that sounds bad, Rip. Thoughts and prayers, brother. Thoughts and prayers. I hope that they get that worked out. That's a little frightening. Sorry, peeps. I know this jumps the camera all over the place, but it has to happen. Boy, I'll tell you what, the comment section has been better tonight than I have seen in a really long time. You people are on fire. You people are on fire. So, you know what is always a really good idea when you're doing a show like this? When you got a bunch of people on and mark wages, right? You can't do this any other time. But when you got a good number of people on the boat, we'll call them witnesses, and then mark wages, you can always do I would like to announce that Mark is going to be coming on the lifeboat next week. We're going to have the dynamic duo. We're going to get together. I'm going to be doing a show with just me and Mark next week, and I'm really looking forward to it. Again, some of the most fun I ever had on the boat was just with when Mark and I were doing our thing. We really had a lot of laughs, and working two people is fun. It's a good time. There's a different energy, when there's two of you, and it's a good time. I'm really looking forward to it. We had a lot of laughs too. Tell you a quick story because it's really funny. So in the early days of the lifeboat, I was using about 6 different pieces of equipment to try to make this look good, right? We went through everybody, the people that have been here can tell you, I went through, I don't know how many microphones and cameras. And so I had this thing hooked up, and I had the wrong equipment. And I get real anal about going, right, 5 o'clock. Like I want to go live at 5. And I was already running a little late, my fault. And so I had to run upstairs when I still had it upstairs to go grab the rest of the equipment. And Mark said, just hang up. I'll start a new feed by the time you get back down. Noise Opera, good to see you, bud. Glad you're here. So I go trucking up the stairs at top speed with the camera in my hands, and it's still on. And because it's my fault that we were late, and it was my fault that the camera was upstairs, I did what any other rageaholic would do and blamed it on Mark, and was just running up the stairs thinking of creative things that I could say mean about him. Dumb piece, just being Tommy in rage mode. And Mark just listened to the entire thing, let me do the show. Right by the end of the show, we're hugging and having a great time because that's how it always works. And I think it was the following day or the day after, he goes, just want to tell you something funny. And I said, sure, what's up? He goes, woo, you were letting me have it the other day running up the stairs. I said, what? He said, yeah, that feed was still live. Was still live. Really funny. Or Mark's other favorite stunt was we'd be on the boat together, and Mark was like the engineer. He ran everything. I didn't have to worry about anything other than talking, right? So we'd get to the end of the show, and he'd kill the feed, and he'd do it perfect, right? So it always looked good. It's not like it is now, but it was always like a well-oiled machine. But we would just be ending a live stream, and there would be somebody that I would have been talking back and forth with on the boat or whatever, and I would say something along the lines of, I wish so-and-so hadn't said that. She could be a jerk or he can be a jerk. And he'd go, oh no, we're still live. And he did it anytime I said anything even remotely stupid. He would go, oh man, we're still live. But it has broken me of the habit of, man, you wait a good 30 seconds, make sure everything is off. And because people have You don't want to, you just want to not say anything stupid if you can avoid it. But he did it to me all the time. Monk, Monk, Monk's here. Good to see you, Monk. T-Gun. I think I said hello, but I lose track. So, Wharton Thistle, good to see you, Wharton. Glad that you're here. So we got about 5 minutes left, people. Here's the event schedule going forward. Tomorrow, I will be doing the 5 a.m. It's Heather's turn to heal up a little. Heather was working really hard, and she's you know what? Some prayers for Heather because she's struggling. I think we did that earlier, but there's new people here, so that's like letting a customer see you do the eye roll. That's exactly what it is, Miss Dragon. It's a perfect analogy. It's just what it's like. It is just like that. And fortunately, like it never actually happened. He just loved messing with me on it, all the time, or a burp or anything that, is just not too cool for the show. Yeah. He really had a good time with that. Thank you, Wharton. I hope you have a banner day as well. Coburn, hope to see you on the boat tomorrow, my brother, and I am proud as hell of you. And all of you. There's nobody here on this boat I'm not proud of. And I mean this. Listen up very carefully. If you're here and you got great, thank you, full of hope. Let's put that one up there. So people, if you're here right now and you've got 35 years of sobriety, right? Like Mr. Levi, right? He's got 35 years of sobriety, which is huge, right? We got a lot of people on here with some serious sobriety time. And we've got some people on here that have 1 day of sobriety time. And you know what? It doesn't make a crap bit of difference. They're both awesome, but it's about today. It's not a cliche, man. It's about getting through each day. And when you link enough of them together that you are so grounded, they hate it when I say it, right? But I'm never doing dope again. Never doing dope again. There's not going to be a need. I understand where I'm at, and I'm happy, very, very happy where I am right now, not doing any drugs. Like, this is the happiest I've ever been. And it's not I've taken away sadness for 8 hours, right? I am damn happy. You know what? Here, Ian, we could do that every once in a while, right? When you get big enough that a couple of thousand people show up, then you absolutely can go. You could do 2-hour shows and 3-hour shows, and I love it. I'd rather do a couple of hours, to be really honest with you. Those shows are really, really fun, and we've done some. We've got some 3 and 4 hour live feeds from the first season. The trouble is the big red button can't stand it. I think, they may be getting better about it, but they don't like pushing things that are that long. Full of hope. Have a great evening. Be safe and be kind to yourself. It's late where Full of Hope is. It is really, really late where Full of Hope is. She has to really stay up late to see that, and we appreciate you. And you know what? Please take Full of Hope's advice. And she practices what she preaches. If you go and you look after any of the shows, Full of Hope has been going, and she's been. She doesn't just leave comments; she leaves comments on other people's comments. Thank you. That's a very, very kind thing to say, New Zealand Chili Head. It's a lot easier for me to be humble than it is Johnny. You know what I mean? Johnny's a legend. He really is. He's the top of the food chain for what he does and loves, which is really cool. Really, really cool. And he is one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. Wharton says, trying to pick someone else up for so long and using every word and tact, I fell. You know what, Wharton? You stumbled. And Wharton, I know your situation, man. And you're fighting a very difficult battle. And I'm not, man, please don't be tough on yourself about this. For real. It's not, it's not, let me start this again. If you beat up on yourself on this one, then you're not doing yourself any service. This literally is part of every single person's recovery. there are unicorns, right? The unicorn quits the first time, never uses again. There are unicorns. I've met a few of them, but they are few and friggin' far in between. This is part of the cycle. And Wharton, the best thing that you can do is journal the ever-loving crap out of every single relapse. Sit down and write about it. If you're not a writer, speak it into something. Do whatever you got to do to make sure that it's a good relapse, right? There are good relapses. That's where you learn what drove you to what happened. I know what drove you, but I'm talking about the linchpin, right? You've been dealing with this for a long time and you've been doing really well with it. Something was different and you don't have to share it with us, but you have to share it with that damn journal. And the beautiful thing is the journal's not going to tell anybody else. Good, Wharton. And I know you're going to roll through this. Good. I believe in you too. And I don't know anyone else on the boat who doesn't. This one's for you, brother. This one here is for you, Wharton. Proud of you, man. People, that's how you stumble. That is how you stumble. Me too, seventh. It's going to be, it may be 3 or 4, maybe 3 or 4 volumes by the time it's all said and done, man. I prefer scribbling it down. I do it. I showed you to everybody the other day. I do it with a stylus. Great comment. Great comment. Where is it? Barella. Good to see you. Where is it? Somehow I managed to lose it. See you later, Rose. The end only comes when you leave the boat. It starts again the next day. Amen, brother. Amen. All right, people. Hey, Case. What? Case 1230. Don't know that I've ever 1320. 1230. See that? A little dyslexia. I just joined the stream. Was it AFib you had? It was aflutter. Atrial flutter, which is very similar to AFib as they describe it to me. The difference being that in AFib, it's all over the place. And in aflutter, you're going to go way up. But when you look at it on an EKG, it looks like a normal EKG instead of looking like somebody unplugged it. Or with AFib, it's all over the place. Mine is rhythmic and everything is good. It just went straight up. And I don't think I've ever welcomed you. If I have, I'm glad that I got a chance to do it again. Glad that you're here, man. Ooh, don't do that. Man, you know how many times I've accidentally blocked somebody? Full of Hope says, sometimes my gratitude journal just says, I didn't drink today. And then I smile and realize that's great. That's all it takes, right? That's all it takes. Oh, look who's here. Pagan, so good to see you. So good to see you. Thank you. I found out in September I have AFib. It sucks. Did they put me on Eliquis? I believe that is one of the medications that I am on. Yes. Are you going to tell me a horror story about Eliquis? I hope not. Oh, we're glad you're here, man. We really are. Really glad that you're here. Pagan, I really am glad you're here. It's great to see you. Ian, that's pretty funny, brother. That's pretty funny. So, already, peeps, I'm going to be on tomorrow morning and I'm going to be on tomorrow night. But I'm going to be on tomorrow night a little bit earlier. In fact, let's do it at 4. It's going to be 4 o'clock on the so pass it around. I'll probably post it everywhere I can post it, or realistically ask Heather to post it everywhere she can post it because I'm stupid and I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not stupid. I'm just not great at that aspect of this thing, the whole YouTube thing. No, but read about it. There are a lot of things that you cannot take with it. Thank you. I appreciate that advice, Case. I really do. Good for you, Wharton. You know what? It already sounds like it's going to be a good relapse. If that's something that you're coming away with from this, that's good. Excellent, Miss Dragon. I will see you then, and I will see the rest of you as well. And I did hear a chant a little bit earlier about this. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and this here, that is a happy cat in a basket. She just heard a plate, and she thinks I'm going to get her tuna. Good night, everybody. God bless, and thank you for all you do. Captain Tommy is going to go get a real night's sleep. Yeah, well spoken, squirrel. Here, jump up there. Squirrel's wanting a repeat performance. Look at that kitty. Come here, you happy cat. Oh, ow, 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 ow. End stream, end stream.